What's a global positioning system? It's a system which consists of first a device which is able to send signals from a specific location, like your mobile phone, or so that sends the signal to around to group of around 31 satellites around the earth. 31 satellites at a distance of around 30,000 kilometers away from the earth, which are then called geostationary because at that distance they are fixed. They move exactly with the rotation of the earth, so their location is fixed with respect to the earth. So when you send a signal, when you switch on your GPS on your phone or on your car, what happens is that that link is sent to three different satellites. Three different satellites send their timing as per an atomic clock, which is a very, very accurate clock. And based on that, something called triangulation, comparing the three, it gets to know, okay, this is their distance, this is the time difference, and therefore this is the location of the person or the device on earth. So you have the location. Once you have the location, you have to take the location and put it on a map. The map can sit today on a mobile phone or it sits on a server, which is what when you have a fleet tracking system, there's a server which takes all these dots, because when you're on a phone, it's just one dot on a complete map. When you're on a fleet tracking system, there are about maybe 100 vehicles, 100 devices you want to track. If you're a mining company, you might even track the people also. So that makes it 200, 300. All of them sit on that map. And today, first fleet tracking systems were just a device which would connect to your electrical to get the power supply, and then have a small little antenna for the GPS and then keep sending the location. Today, it taps into the brain of your car, which is called the ECU, Electronic Control Unit. And that device then gives you, through something called the OBD, which is a 16 port plug. So you can literally plug that device into any vehicle because it's a standard port, and you can find it out online where your port is for your vehicle. Once you plug it in, it gets to know what is your engine temperature, what is the status of your fuel levels in terms of your petrol, and even your coolants. Because then you move into things like predictive maintenance, where you're able to take your car and know, okay, this my oil needs to be changed before time, this is what I need to do. I'm going to have a problem with my spark plug, this is what I need to do. And it even checks the performance of the person driving the vehicle. So are you hard braking, are you over speeding, are you having sharp acceleration, and how is that affecting the mileage of your vehicle? So in the case of big buses, where people are running buses every day, they don't want those buses to break down, they don't want to have high fuel costs. So you're able to check the people who are driving, and today Zomato, Swiggy are checking their people in terms of how long they take to travel and then incentivizing them accordingly. So you can then incentivize people based on how well they are driving, and tomorrow you know exactly what is the approximate speed somebody should be driving on a certain road. So that's where it started. It started with, and there's a company called Teltonika in Germany which makes a ton of these amazing devices which are very, very robust. And it can check even if you put it on a person, it can check if the person had a fall. It can send an alert regarding that. It can check, in terms of tomorrow, you can even have devices on cycles, you have devices on two-wheelers. All of that can be tracked. Now people are talking about devices on helmets. So the whole point of tracking is to be able to know how your fleet is, and if you've spent a lot of money on your vehicles, you don't want those vehicles to break down, because every breakdown is a huge cost. It means that you need to pick up the vehicle, you need to refund your customers for that delay, or if the customer is actually sitting in the vehicle, then you have to figure out how to pick them up from that vehicle and transport them in another vehicle. to their end location, and then there will be some delays which will happen subsequently. So that is where devices come in, and that is where we are moving towards, because today, of course, the more data you collect about road conditions, then you are able to reach that point of the driverless vehicle, because the more data you have, you are able to say, okay, this is how on an approximate level how my vehicle should travel. And then you know, okay, because if you know the topography, you will also be able to know, okay, this is where I'm getting more bumps on the road, you know, this is where the speed breaker is, this is the most dangerous section, so I have to be a little bit more careful. Because right now a GPS device, a navigation device, only tells you, okay, you know, there's an intersection, turn left, turn right. But should it not even tell you, you know, this part of the road is a little tricky, there's a sharp curve, go a little bit slower, you know, there's a big pothole, go down, go slower, you know, or there's a snake coming, slow down. You know, in Goa, it's considered very inauspicious to drive over snakes. So you will see a lot of vehicles with this brake for snakes sticker. So it means that if anybody sees a snake, even if the road is empty, they'll slow. So you also have to slow down along with them. So this is where vehicles and devices, these fleet tracking devices are. This is how they work, and this is where they need to move to, because tomorrow, of course, everybody wants a vehicle which can drive itself. And the biggest question is there any vehicle which can drive itself in India? And the question is, yes, if you're able to track them properly, and if you're able to collect enough of data of the road conditions and what are the obstructions in between, you will be able to.